So, over the next several weeks, I'm going to share with you some very interesting spiritual experiences that I've had over the years. Things that are very personal to me that I haven't shared with you guys before. I've shared one such story, and I'm going to reshare that story again in this video series. But I think it's time to break the seal on some of these interesting spiritual experiences I've had. Like, for example, having an out of body experience when I was 4. 4. Hmm. Being visited by physical angels when I was about 4. And that's not the only time that's happened. And there's lots of other ones, guys, that I've been holding back on since I started this YouTube channel. Well, it's time. So here we go. A quick bit of housekeeping. If you were not aware, you can find me also over here on this platform. Look me up, go to this website. So type this in and then .com, right? And the name of my channel over there is New World All-Star. All-Star is one word, Allstar. New World All-Star. Got some really cool stuff over there that you might be interested in if you would like to come with me to the new earth that is manifesting. And I am dead serious about that. I'm on a mission. And I'd like you to join me for a lasting life in peace and prosperity. So let's get to my story here. And this one takes the cake, guys. This story is very, very special to me because of how it unfolded and how I was so young. So, when I was a kid, I was a pretty messy little kid. And some of you that have been on my channel for a while, you might have seen my house, a little bit, like on some of my ads. Like I'll run like little advertisements on my YouTube channel and a couple of the live streams that I've done. I'm very, very clean. All right, we keep this house very clean. I'm very neat, organized. I dust, vacuum, everything's in its place, very clean, right? Well, when I was a kid, it was a complete opposite. I was a scroungy little rug rat, My room was a big mess. And I grew up in the country, so there's always like a muddy irrigation ditch to be playing around in and, stuff like that. And that part was a lot of fun. And my room was a disaster. Like the floor was completely covered in toys and clothes and papers and crayons and dirty dishes, and you get the idea, right? Okay, well, as you can imagine, my parents were pretty unhappy about that. And one day, my dad said, "You're going to clean your room. You're going to do it, son." And he made it really clear what was going to happen if I did not clean my room. So I got in there and I started cleaning the room. And I didn't want to. Kids, I don't want to, and I went in there. I didn't say that to my dad. I didn't talk back. No, you did not want to talk back to my dad. And but I went in there and I did it begrudgingly, but I did it. And I started cleaning the room. And because I didn't want to do it, I was going kind of slow. But I did after like an hour or something. I cleared out like a big circle in the room, right? And it was like spotless. Like I was cleaning the room. There was this big area that I picked up. Whereas before, the floor was just completely coated in junk. But there was this big space. So I was doing something, right? And apparently that was good enough for my dad at the time, because what happened was he walks in the door. So I had the door closed. He opens the door, walks in, and he's got the belt in his hand. And When your dad is angry and he's got the belt in his hand, you know what time it is. Hmm? And he just kind of looked at me. And then he turned around and he left. He closed the door. So I guess he thought, well, I guess he's cleaning his room, right? I was cleaning my room. I was doing it. Man, that was scary. So that happened. As soon as my dad left, I was overcome with this deep emotion of hopelessness. 4 years old, guys. 4 years old. And it was pretty overwhelming. 4 years old. Like I've lost all hope. I don't know what I'm going to do. Whether I was right or wrong, we're not talking about that. The room was messy, but, that's a pretty big emotion for a little kid, And I felt that way for about, 30 seconds, a minute. And then all of a sudden, I heard a voice, a female voice, very beautiful voice. And it said my name. And mind you, I did not hear the voice in here in my head. I heard it out there. It right? Like the sound was vibrating my eardrums. Okay? But there was nobody in the room with me. And by the way, I still have physical evidence of this. I'll get to that in a second. I have physical evidence, or had, that this happened. But it was a very beautiful, soft, and reassuring female voice, and it said my name. Kurt. And I'm not even quite doing it right. I'm close. But the inflection in my voice is just a little off because it was very comforting and reassuring. Beautiful, angelic voice said my name. And then the next thing you know, a feather falls down out of nowhere right in front of my face. It was a big feather too. It was like this big. And I had that feather until I was probably about 17 years old. I'm not really sure what happened to it. Maybe my mom threw it out when she was cleaning the house one day or something. I don't know. But it was gone. But the thing is how like a little kid, they watch cartoons and they don't quite always know the difference between reality and what's imaginary, kind of, right? Well, the thing is I had the feather until I was 17. And a 17-year-old's brain is developed enough, right, to tell the difference between real and imagined. So I had that feather. I know I'm not making this shit up. And I remember the experience so vividly like it happened yesterday. And by the way, we don't have any feathers in our house. Nobody's got a feather pillow. Nobody's got a feather coat. No one. And I'm inside the house and the big feather just appears right after I heard that voice. By the way, this happened a second time the next night. Guys, I gotta tell you, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes and I wonder, who are you? Who am I? And I'm not trying to put myself above anybody else. Everybody has something important that they came here to do, but I just look at what I'm doing. My my career, if you want to call it that, right? I'm a spiritual teacher and I've got this big audience and everybody's looking at me. And just the topics that I'm talking about and the times that we live in and the way that I'm explaining things to people. And the little side project that I have going on and over here, right? For example, and the goals that I have and where I want to take things. And I look at myself and I look at these strange experiences that I've had in my life. And I think, who are you, mister? It's just astonishing to be me. And guys, you know how I feel about it? I'm just little old me. I don't think I'm anything special, maybe. I don't know. It's just very strange and humbling to be watched by angels. And there's more angel stories to come, guys. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.